You were taught to keep your head down, to work hard, to be humble. Let your work speak for itself. But here's the problem. Promotions don't happen inside your head. They happen inside conversations that you're a part of. And if leadership can't clearly explain your impact when your name comes up, someone who's louder will probably win. Today, we're talking about why visibility feels so dang uncomfortable for high performing women, the difference between bragging and strategic communication, and how to share your value without sounding egotistical or fake or having to say, pick me.
Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome back to the Ordinary to Badass podcast, the podcast where women in predominantly male industries learn to rise, lead, and own their power without apology. I'm your host, Marie Sonneman. And today we're talking about something that makes so many women feel uncomfortable, being seen. Because, you know what, most of us were taught, be humble, don't brag, don't make it all about you. Meanwhile, the workplace is rewarding people who know how to communicate their value. And nobody teaches women how to do that without feeling cringy. No one taught me anyway. Before we get into it, let's talk about what felt ordinary and what felt badass this week. I had one of my star employees tell me that she thought I and everyone else wanted her to quit, which honestly, that felt like a complete leadership fail. This employee is amazing, and if she left, we would be screwed. She has so much stinking knowledge in her position. So her unit that she supervises is always slammed. Phones are ringing nonstop. People are at the counter. Go, go, go. Chaos all the time. So every time I walked into her office, she was busy. She looked overwhelmed. There were a lot of things going on. So instead of wanting to interrupt her, I thought that would add stress. So I backed off. For the most part, we communicated via email. Less face-to-face conversations, less check-ins. There really was less relationship building. Then one day, I called her in my office to check on her because she seemed stressed. She looked at me and said, I thought you and everybody else here wanted me to quit. Oof, that was like a gut punch. Here's what hit me in the moment. Silence creates stories. If you're not talking to someone, they fill in their own gaps. They create their own stories. I thought I was helping her by giving her space, but she interpreted the distance as rejection. And honestly, that's what you risk by not having regular communication with someone or regular face to face communication with someone. And unfortunately, sometimes that's leadership. You don't always say the right thing or do the right thing. And sometimes the thing that you don't say becomes louder than the things that you do say. Okay, on a completely different note, let's talk about what felt badass. This is going to be a weird one, but what felt badass has been working on my yard. It's still a work in progress, but it sounds random. Hear me out. I'm not good at yard work. I'm not good at gardening, fixing things. Nope, not my talents. I once had a garden that legit looked like a pet cemetery. It was awful. And I had tried. I tried hard, but it looked bad. Dead plants. There were rocks around the plants. It looked bad. No vision, just chaos. And even if I had vision, gardening, not my talent, but we'll go with it. But peace, that's my jam. That's my thing. I definitely want my house to be like a sanctuary. I want to feel good in my own space. So I've been fixing up my backyard in my little shed area. I have a she shed, yes. And it's been fun seeing the work in progress. Oh, let me tell you this little tip. It's hilarious, but you might want to steal it. I took a picture or several pictures of my backyard before I started, and then I threw it into AI and said, redesign this. How can I improve this? And then it turned out that I already had a bunch of the stuff that I needed. I just wasn't using it correctly and keeping it in my she shed. I had all the tools, but I was stuck because I didn't have the vision. And so I was stuck in my head. And honestly, this happens to a lot of high achieving women too. You already have experience. You have the leadership ability, the work ethic, the results. But nobody taught you how to position it. Nobody taught you how to make your impact visible. Okay, let's get into the episode. I don't know why I did this with my hands. Shook them out in front of me, but we're going with it. You were taught not to brag, but your boss can't back what they can't see. Personally, I've always had a weird relationship with self promotion. I don't like arrogance, certainly don't like ego. I can't stand when people constantly talk about how amazing they are. And honestly, for a long time, I believed if you have to brag about it, maybe your work isn't actually doing its job. And also, I thought people who brag must secretly be insecure. But over time, I have realized something important. There's a huge difference between bragging and helping people understand your value. Because leadership decisions are based on perception, patterns, and confidence. Your boss can't confidently back what they can't clearly explain. And this is where so many high performers struggle. Because we think if I just work hard enough, they'll notice. But your boss is busy. The leaders at your company, busy. Your boss is juggling fires, meetings, politics, budgets, staff shortages. You are thinking about your career and your accomplishments 24/7, not so much for your boss. Here's an analogy I keep thinking about. Imagine your boss is walking through a dark warehouse and all he has is a flashlight. That flashlight only shines where he's pointing it, right? So he sees small sections at a time. That's how your leadership sees your work. They don't get the whole picture, they just get tiny glimpses, moments, fragments. And a lot of women assume if I'm doing amazing work, they're eventually going to see it all. Nope, not true. Not unless you help direct the flashlight. Not with arrogance, not with ego, but strategic visibility. With stories, updates, conversations, wins, vision. Here's the thing, if you don't help shape the narrative around your work, someone else will. If you don't speak up, someone else will. So the choice is yours. Now, let me tell you a story about something that changed my thoughts on this whole thing, changed my thinking. I've shared this here before, but I had a meeting with a future leader, and she later became pretty high up. I saw everyone around her trying to get her attention once they found out that she was going to be promoted to a high position. They were laughing extra hard, trying to impress her, hovering around her, trying to get her to like them. Honestly, it all felt so gross and cringy to me. I was like, yuck, that's not me. I didn't want to play that game. So I stayed quiet. I kept to myself, did my work. And when I had a meeting with her about something different, I said nothing about my goals. I said nothing about the things I had accomplished. I didn't have to be braggy, but I could have shared my vision. I could have shared what I wanted to accomplish because she didn't know me. And later, when she moved up, that decision absolutely hurt me because, again, she didn't know me, but it was my fault. It was my own doing. She didn't know my leadership style. She didn't know my experience, certainly didn't know my vision. And the truth is, I thought I was being humble. But really, I was playing small, staying invisible. There is a difference. I didn't need to suck up to her, but I certainly could have shared what I cared about, what kind of leader I wanted to be, where I wanted, what direction I saw the department going, or how I wanted to get there. I could have said what strengths I brought to the table or what I was building. That's not ego, it's positioning. There's a quote from Dolly Parton, and it says, find who you are and do it on purpose. And a lot of times professionally, I think women are taught the exact opposite. Blend in. Don't be too proud. Don't brag. Don't talk too much about your accomplishments. Meanwhile, your boss is trying to answer one question. Can I confidently put this person in a bigger role? That requires you showing up, you being visible, not shrinking. And here is my frustration. Nobody teaches women how to talk about their impact without feeling fake, how to share wins naturally, how to communicate results, how to advocate for themselves, how to talk about goals or highlight their leadership ability with without sounding like they're wind vomiting over everybody. I came up with that. I don't know, but like puking out their words, right? Or sharing it to everybody. Nobody wants that. Because if you share your wins correctly, it actually helps your boss. It makes writing evaluations easier. It make later when they have to write evaluation, it makes it so much easier. It helps them understand your contributions. It helps them to explain your value behind closed doors. Your win becomes their win. And let me tell you something. If you consistently make your boss look good, your boss is gonna like you. So if you don't like bragging, you don't like sharing your wins, let's reframe it. If advocating for yourself feels uncomfortable, stop making it about ego. There's no need to scream, look how amazing I am. I felt like doing spirit fingers there. Okay. All you're doing is giving your boss information so that they can confidently back you. That's different. You are helping them see the impact, helping them direct the flashlight even. So if you want to know how to fix this, if you want to know what actually goes on behind closed doors, what your boss is actually looking for, you can join Behind Closed Doors. You can join my masterclass, Behind Closed Doors. What actually decides promotions? It's for women in predominantly male industries who are already strong performers. I show you how promotions really get decided and the three invisible mistakes that high performing women are making, even though their work is already strong, and how to make your leadership obvious before you get the title, before the job interview, so that you're positioned for the next role without any guesswork. So if you want to join, head on over to go.ordinarytobadass.com/join BCD. go.ordinarytobadass.com/join BCD. Behind Closed Doors, BCD. Until next time, keep showing up, keep speaking up, and never ever shrink for a seat at the table because you were born to build it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.